1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Question for Brenda. Literally, words cannot describe how thrilled I am this week to have my special guest, who is a legendary lady. She's an artist muse. She used to model for Lucien Freud. She used to be best friends with another legend, Leigh Bowery. She's an artist herself. She's used to work at Dole Office. She designed some things that ended up on Fendi fabric. Now she's got some t-shirts and bomber jackets and stuff that you can buy with their paintings on. Honestly, she's fucking brilliant. So I'm so chuffed to have this week's special guest, Sue Tilley. Welcome, Sue.
Hi, Brenda. Thank you for asking me to be on your show. I'm thrilled.
Well, Sue, firstly, welcome. Thanks ever so much for coming. I am thrilled. Now, my first question for you is, when you were a child and you were sat in a gypsy skirt with curly hair and you were probably watching the Partridge Family and wishing that you had hair like Susan Day's, or maybe you used to wish you could meet the Osmonds, or I don't know what you even liked at that point, but at that point in your life, what were your dreams? What were you imagining that you would do with your future?
Yes, funny enough, I did love the Partridge Family. I was a little bit old, but I've always loved pop, and I've always loved things like teenagers like. Even though I'm 64 now, I love a teenager programme, especially on Netflix, an American series. My favourite at the moment's Bold Type. Well, yeah, so when I was a teenager, I think I still thought I'd be the sort of woman who'd get married and have children. I don't think I really wanted to, but that was expected. But really, I always wanted to be a fashion designer. But of course, I went to work in the job centre and that never really happened. But funny enough, as soon as I was 60, my fashion business began. So I was asked to work at Fendi, which was really thrilling. And now, just recently, I've got my own little line on Pop Goes the Weasel. I'm so excited. I'm going to have a meeting with them in a minute. So, word of advice, don't give up on your dreams. They can always happen, however old you are.
So, whoosh, you've grown up from being a teenager, now you're an adult living in London, you've got a job at the Dole Office, you're working at Taboo nightclub on the door, you're hanging about with Leigh Bowery, you're having parties, having a fabulous time. What I want to know is how come you ended up working in a Dole Office, and why with that wonderful glamorous life did you maintain that job for such a long time?
I know, it's funny I worked in the Dole Office, isn't it? But I like the fact that I lived in two worlds. I had the glamorous world, then the regular world, the Dole Office, and sometimes they crossed over because quite a lot of you, my clubbing friends, used to come and sign on, so we'd always have a good chat. And then, yeah, my friends used to come and visit me, so we had a nice time. And to be honest, the reason I stayed, because I was brought up with a very kind of proper family, and I always thought, oh, it'd be nice. I like to have a regular income. I wouldn't like the world of having to wait to see what money I was getting and things like that. So it was, although I was always broke, I always had a regular income, and then I got a pension. So now I've given up work. I mean, I still have to earn some money, but at least I got a pension that pays most of my bills, which is a thrill. And as well, we only had to work 36 hours a week, and we had loads of holidays. And then if you work more than your 36 hours, you could take that off in lieu. So I could fit the work in and all my other life as well. So it was all right.
So, through Leigh Bowery, you met Lucien Freud, who he was modelling for, and you decided to be a model for him. Now, I know that his paintings took forever to do. So, what I want to know is, when you were laid on the settee in that famous painting, Benefit Supervisor sleeping, without even as much as a pair of pop socks on, weren't you fucking freezing? And was it boring?
No. Wasn't really boring working for Lucien, and he did have some mod cons, so I was very lucky to have a heater to keep me warm. And that wasn't boring because he was so funny that sometimes I'd be laughing so much I almost fell off the settee at the things he said and his Machiavellian ways. But no, and also he was a vociferous reader and had all the newspapers. He sometimes get about 10 newspapers a day, so I used to sit and read them and read all the Sunday supplements, all the magazines. So I was very well read and up on current affairs.
After living in London for a long time, you decided to just uproot and change everything and move to the seaside. So you moved to St Leonards-on-Sea, which for those of us in the north is a bit like Withensea, but it's down south, obviously. You become an artist in your own right. You've done lots of beautiful paintings of people from your past and people from your present, of Tunnocks tea cakes and lipstick and cans of Coke, and some of yourself, some sort of self-portraits, putting lipstick on and things like that. And I know some of your designs ended up on fabric for Fendi, the luxury brand that none of us can afford. And more recently, you've done some more affordable stuff on some t-shirts and bomber jackets and things, which look really good. So I wonder if you could tell us a bit about that. You know, are you actually considering moving into the world of fashion?
Well, as I said in the answer to question 1, I'm thrilled with my sudden foray into the fashion world. I always say, when sometimes I have to go and give talks to students, and I always say to them, go out, meet people, it's the way you get on in life. And I met Julian Gagnon by going out, and then he worked for Fendi and said to me, and he used to love my paintings, and he particularly loves one of my dad. And then he said, do you want to design for Fendi? I thought, oh yeah, right, what? That's just, it's a joke, isn't it? But then it happened. And it was just after I moved to St Leonards, where I moved to on a whim that worked out very well. And then anyway, so I was doing these pictures in it was my spare room, and I was surrounded by boxes because there was a builder doing my kitchen and there was all mud. So I was in this little tiny room and they were faxing pictures back. Phone messaging pictures back and forth from their offices in Fendi in Rome. Then I was drawing it, sending it back, making changes. So that was very entertaining. And they were very expensive, though. A T-shirt was £400. But then, lots of my friends have moved to St Leonards as well, so that's really nice. Then one in particular, Wayne Shires, has opened lots of pubs, which is great, because all my friends from London come down to them. Then all my friends have moved here are in them, so we've got a lovely little life down here. And anyway, so in this pub, I met these 2 men, John and Jason, but they said they were going to do fashion, but I didn't really understand what they're talking about. This was about 18 months ago. And then finally, about 3 or 4 weeks ago, they said, come round my house, let's discuss it, let's do it seriously. So I went. And now my thing's for sale already. It's thrilling. So a lot of the pictures I'd drawn before, in fact, those ones put in the lipstick, I think I'd drawn for an exhibition in Hull that you came to. So that's how that happened, and it's thrilling. So we're getting very excited, and we've got lots of plans. This is only the beginning. I sound like an entrepreneur, don't I? No, so hopefully Pop Goes the Whistle is going to be really big and fantastic.
Now, I don't know about you, Sue, but I can't fucking believe it. All the questions have gone. It's question 5. It's time to say goodbye. But before we say goodbye, I just want to ask you this one question. This is something of a very similar vein I ask all my guests. So I want you just to close your eyes, take a deep breath, and imagine that girl we described in question 1 who sat in the gypsy skirt with curly hair. Perhaps she's doing some macrame. Perhaps she's eating a vesta paella. Something like that. But now if you could just open the door of the room where she's sitting and pop your head through and tell her something to make her feel better, what would you tell her?
I think you're inside my mind. I did make macrame plant holders, and I did have vesta paella, but I did prefer the chow mein. She had the crispy noodles. There was a palaver making that. It all went on, but I liked it. I haven't had one for many years, though. So if I opened the door and saw myself sitting there doing my macrame, I was always doing crafts and goodness knows what, and I don't know what I'd say. I'd just say, Susan, don't worry about anything. You'll have a lovely life. Won't all be fantastic, but most of the time, you'll be really lucky and really nice things will happen to you. And the things that happen to you, you wouldn't even believe that they would happen because you wouldn't even know that they existed. Because the things that have happened to me are so weird. That I was the most expensive painter in the world. I've been a character in a Broadway play. I've had art exhibitions. I've worked for Fendi. Who would have thought? And it's not like I'm really ambitious. I'm very lucky, and people just ask me to do things. I don't know why, but so I would say to that young girl with her curly perm, don't worry, life will be fantastic. Enjoy it.
Can't believe how quickly that went by. It was fucking brilliant, wasn't it? So thanks again, Sue. Loved it. And now, if anyone's interested in Sue Tilley's designs on jackets and hoodies and t-shirts and stuff, it's www.popgoestheweasel.com. See you next week. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to go to my Instagram, Brenda_the_shapeshifter. Bye.